Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. And today is episode 1 of our new podcast.
Yeah. New podcast. We don't have a name yet. We don't have
Don't
a
have a name for it yet.
we mentioned it on the main Ripsy Rundown podcast, I think like 2 weeks ago, that we were wanting to, get a new podcast going where we're just kind of talk about whatever is relevant of the week or just whatever we want to talk about. Um, but this will be
Yeah,
the host of this one will be West. So
this is
you'll
my
see him on
podcast.
on each one. So I guess he can give a little more information if there even is much more to talk about.
Hey, we're gonna go with the flow here. We just, we love talking about the Blazers every week, but we have opinions on other things too, and we want to
Yeah.
share them with you. And we just want to have like a space where we can just talk about whatever we want, where you guys can get to know us more. So yeah, we don't have a name for it yet, but we're gonna do some brainstorming. If you guys have name suggestions, drop them in there, and I will seriously consider them. Um,
Yeah,
our
there's
our
no pickiness really when it comes to this right now, I don't
our
think.
our, our third comrade, Cody suggested WCC takes, which was a horrible idea.
I like incorporating takes maybe because we use that word a lot. I
Yeah,
want to try to keep it like genuine to us somehow, but that'll
right.
be kind of hard. But it will be, you'll always be on it. It'll, for the most part, always be just two people kind of
Yeah,
rotating between
yeah,
me and Cody depending on who's available. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So you're on the opening episode. Congratulations. Um, let's just jump into what was kind of the big event this past week, which was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So obviously the Chiefs get it done, and the the Eagles. First of all, thoughts on that holding call?
I don't I I don't mind the call. I mean, I don't think that like even the Eagles were like, no, it's not. That doesn't cost them the game. That doesn't cost us the game. For everyone saying like you don't make that call in that time, I understand, but like also that's like it's also a reason why people don't like refs is because like they feel like they change their even in the NBA they change like their whistle at different times of the game and
Yeah,
it's like not consistent. So you're never gonna get the perfect game of refereeing, but up until that point, I felt like it was one of the better games I can remember. Referees weren't a big deal, and even in that moment, sure, it kind of made the ending a little boring, and
anticlimactic.
you knew what was going to happen, but it's just football at the end of the
Yeah.
day. So
Um, what are your thoughts on that Super Bowl halftime show?
I'm honestly okay. Before I just jump right into the halftime show, the whole just like idea of the Super Bowl is like it's grown on me so much, and I know it's like obviously everyone loves the Super Bowl, but like up until like this year, I truly appreciated the entire just realm of the Super Bowl, whether that's the halftime show, the commercials, the actual game. We got blessed with like an actual really good game between two really good teams. The betting side, just everyone talking about the Super Bowl, like I've never truly appreciated how great of an event it is, how much I look forward to it, and you know, it's
So,
it's almost one of those games where it's almost better if your team is not in it because you can actually
yeah,
appreciate the game and you're not stressing the whole time.
yeah,
I've learned that the hard way through when the Panthers were in it. So
yeah. So Super Bowl halftime shows are obviously the kind of the I won't say the main event of the entertainment side, but it kind of is like outside the game. Super Bowl halftime shows kind of like gets the
it's
biggest
arguably
attention.
sometimes even bigger.
True. Now, I'm gonna read a text that you sent the other night. This is the opening take of the whole podcast. I want you to defend this take.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You go, just watched the Rihanna halftime show again, and the final four songs of All the Lights Around This Town, Umbrella and Diamonds, might go down as one of the best stretches in halftime show history. Our brother says, talk about a take.
Okay. Here's my reasoning behind that take. I don't think Rihanna had the best halftime show of all time. I think it was really good and it was better than I expected. First off, I didn't realize Rihanna had like that many songs were sung by
Yeah.
Rihanna.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, I didn't realize All the Lights was Rihanna's song, but
Well,
or like it's Kanye's song, but I
it's
didn't realize Rihanna was on that song. I
yeah.
don't know how I didn't realize that, but I didn't. I think that those four songs are personally my four favorite songs by her or that have her, and she just went boom, 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 boom. Like she played 12 total songs in like 13 minutes. I don't know if anyone's ever done that. but though like she had no stoppages the whole time, no guests. Like for someone that is by herself and going song by song by song, whoa, she went all the lights run this town, umbrella diamonds. That was just like banger after banger
Yeah.
after banger after banger. And I think when I look back at stretches of Super Bowl halftime shows, it's just certain parts of each show. That's gonna go down as probably one of my favorites of all time.
Mm. Now you follow that with, and obviously we don't need to preface why certain people were not on stage with her.
Yeah.
Like there's obviously reasons for that. But you were like, if she did have guest appearances, whether it was Jay-Z, Drake, Kanye, any of them, it would have catapulted her show to one of the greatest.
Oh,
Now,
if Kanye and Jay-Z were in the show, that would have been
just from like a entertainment and like
just for the
music
fact that
standpoint.
like Rihanna's obviously a huge name. And for the most part, all the biggest stars have always been in Super Bowl halftime shows. But like I feel like the rap like culture is like risen in the past like 10 years. Like the more hit songs like are more and more rap music over time. For the
Mhm.
most part, we haven't had that many like rap artists in the Super Bowl halftime show. Last year was obviously an exception, and that was also one of the greatest halftime shows of all time. You know, maybe every single show is the greatest of all time now that I think about it.
Bro, I
But
forgot. Honestly, I would
that
probably,
was
for me personally, I didn't really watch much of the halftime show just because like I was with a bunch of people and we were just like having our own conversations like when the game was not on. I mean, like obviously when I heard like the intro to Run This Town, I was like, she's playing it because I really wanted to hear that song. But I don't know. I would probably say halftime show last year with Eminem, Dr. Dre, and all those guys. That was that was up there. I think my
look
favorite
if
of
I
all time has got
yeah
to be Coldplay though. It was number 50. It was, just
brought in
good
Bruno.
vibes. Bruno came out, Beyonce
Okay,
came out, but even like the Prince tribute at the end, like Coldplay killed it. Um, yeah, I would probably say Coldplay. I mean, Katy Perry wasn't horrible.
look
That was
for the
kind of
most part,
iconic.
I don't think there's really ever been a bad halftime show. The only
The
one
Black
that I
Eyed Peas were garbage.
that was not garbage though because like I like the Black Eyed Peas though. Sure, they're not great performers because they're just up there the whole time going just like because they have no moves at all. Neither does really Rihanna, but like she's different, I feel like.
Mhm.
And she was pregnant, so which is just crazy. In my opinion, my favorite halftime shows of all time is I really can't put up my favorite of all time, but it's definitely the Coldplay, Bruno, and Beyonce. Then we got the Dr. Dre one.
That
That
was
one
sick.
was
That was so sick.
elite. It also kind of like got me back into and introduced me even more to like
Old
early
rap.
2000s, late 90s rap,
Yeah.
which I appreciate a lot more. I'm not going to put this one up there because I don't think it is. Um, I think Bruno Mars's one where he was by himself was a really good one. And for the most part, I'm just saying ones that I saw live. Like I think the Michael Jackson one that he did in the Rose Bowl in like '93 is really good. Obviously, the Prince one's really good. But for the most part, I think it's those three for me, unless I'm forgetting one, which I probably am. I gotta pull
What are
up
your
the list
thoughts
of
on the
Super Bowl halftime
weekends?
shows. I thought it was good. I don't for me personally, I feel like the weekend isn't big enough to not have a guest on the stage, but that could be just my personal opinion. I thought he was solid though. He was solid.
Interesting. Yeah.
Um, let me look at these shows here. So we're talking obviously last year Rihanna. We knew that the weekend. I thought Shakira, Jennifer Lopez were good.
Yeah.
I think Maroon 5 was pretty mid back when they brought out Travis Scott too. Timberlake was good. Lady Gaga was mid. And I also just don't really like Lady Gaga. Gosh, that was not a great show. Yeah, and then before that is ones I really don't remember that much. Now, those are my favorite shows. Now, if we're talking favorite moments and certain songs in halftime shows, I gotta go one that I didn't see live, but when NSYNC started with Bye Bye Bye, because that song's a banger, and that was a great start. And then we're talking when Bruno Mars entered at Super Bowl 50. That was amazing.
Oh,
The Uptown Funk.
with
And then
Stone Cold
also
song.
when they're going, him and Beyonce are going like coming down the stage and they're like going back and forth, like, fellas, let's get this stadium shaking. Bro, and the camera work on that is unbelievable. So that those are probably my and then also probably just the beginning. I don't know which part of the Super Bowl last year was better. The beginning when Dr. Dre like rose up and like
I think the
started with
favorite part for me from
whatever.
last year was when Lose Yourself started. Because
Yeah, that was good. Or it was
okay,
or it was at the end when he started playing the notes of whatever the song. Not
bum 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 bum. Yeah, yeah,
what
still
is
Dre.
Still Dre, yeah. Not the other one.
The next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's I know we had to get those takes off our chest because I don't know. I've never been a huge Super Bowl halftime show guy in general, just because I don't know.
Are you a commercial guy?
I'm more of a commercial guy.
I
Yo,
think I've
that's
never
where I
been
wanted
a
to go. That's where I want to go next. Give me, this is what I wanted to do. You give me a memorable Super Bowl commercial you remember, and I'll give you one, and we'll say which is better. Obviously, you got to start with
Okay,
the
can I
you got to start with the GoDaddy one.
which one was was the GoDaddy one when it was just the fat guy and the hot girl just going at it. Yeah, I don't even remember what Super Bowl that was from. First off, before I do that, the one my favorite from this year, even though the most memorable might be like the Tubi one.
Yeah, that's what everyone was saying. But that's kind of
Like that all did that
yeah,
throw you off? Did that throw you off? It
it
throw me off.
did. I wasn't really paying
I turned over and
attention.
I was like, did you sit on the remote? But that was funny. My favorite one was I think it was T-Mobile. It was the what the Grease Lightning guy.
Oh yeah, that was
John
good.
Travolta.
Yeah.
That was good. No
Um,
BKs.
that was we were saying that
No
the fact
BKs
that the
commercial. They could
fact
have
that
went crazy.
they're gonna spend so much money on advertising and commercials, but they're not gonna get one for the Super Bowl. That had to be a strategy,
There's no way I missed it. Because like once you
bro.
hear
It
it,
would have
it's just
been,
like
dude. You know when you hear that the flat voice off key on Whopper, Whopper, Whopper.
okay, but that was this year. For the most part, I don't think there was that many great commercials this year.
No, obviously like ones that I remember vividly. You remember like Puppy Monkey Baby,
I was gonna say that. That's like one of the
classic.
only ones I actually can remember right now.
I think the one that
Obviously,
is
Doritos has some crazy ones, like
Doritos has
the one where like the dude sticks his finger through the wall.
yes,
Also, the one where like he not pulls the baby out, but draws the baby out of the pregnant woman by like putting a
yeah.
Dorito and like this Dorito. I don't. Did they have a commercial
I
this
don't
year?
think so.
Not that I can remember.
There were a lot of like
Um,
movie trailers too. I thought like honestly, my favorite one of all time is probably the Budweiser one with the horse and the dog.
that is a really good
That
one.
one, that one gets me. That one gets
Some of
me
those I
emotional.
don't even remember. Like some of those commercials that like I think of as my favorite of all time might not even be Super Bowl commercials. So um, I don't.
I mean, obviously, there's the OG like Pepsi one where the kid's trying to get
Oh,
like
the Breaking Bad one this year was also amazing. Also, just because I'm watching Breaking Bad right now. I don't even know if you know which one that was.
no,
It was the one when they were eating chips and he was like, "Yo, this is bomb." You might have
nope,
not even been watching. It was
nope.
it was a good one.
But um, the old Pepsi commercial where the little kid is trying to can't reach the Pepsi, so he grabs a Coke can and uses the Coke can as like a stepping stool and steps on it. It's pretty good marketing. I mean, I don't know. Super Bowl commercials, Super Bowl halftime shows. It's those are arguably more
It's
entertaining than
truly
games.
the most American thing of all time, in my opinion. It's
Could be.
It's food with your friends. It's betting. It's football, entertainment, and advertisements. Like that's America.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the peak of consumerism, honestly. Um Speaking of betting, we both made a little coin. We both made
We did make some money.
I made 50 bucks
One of the
off a
better
$5 bet.
one of the most long shot bets I've probably ever hit in my life. For the shall I run through it and how we got
Sure.
there?
Go for it.
So we did obviously the prize picks 6-man flex, and it had 30 times payout. So I just throw $5, just a little chump change, just a couple candy bars. And there's no way I can find 6 bets that I like from the Super Bowl that I truly think are all going to hit. So I went 3 NBA from the day, 3 Super Bowl. We went with the Robert Williams. He hit his over. Jaden Ivey hit his over. Desmond Bain hit his over by the skin of his teeth. If you want to go watch the highlights of that game, you'll find out why his threes. We had AJ Brown, his fantasy score. Great game from
I
AJ.
had that too.
The jump ball
Yeah, that was
touchdown
nice.
was
That was
huge to
clutch. That
start
was
off the
clutch.
day. We had Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts to combine for at least 4 passing touchdowns, which was risky, and I was nervous it was not going to hit, given the fact that Jalen Hurts had 3 rushing touchdowns, but Mahomes turned up in the second half. Andy Reid with his play calls to get 2 wide open touchdowns, huge. And then to end it off, we had Juju Smith-Schuster over 35.5 receiving yards. Only had 1 catch in the first half, but ended up with like 5 catches in the second half. And the one that sealed it was right before the touchdown, the one where like they had the fake screen hole shot down the sideline to like the 5-yard line to Juju. It was
That was
good
huge.
stuff. Good stuff.
I had about 3 minutes to get something in, and I was like, I have $5 to mess around with here. So I was just like, all right, we're going both quarterbacks over
Going to the
fantasy
best
score,
players.
both number one options over fantasy score, and it worked. So that was nice.
Honestly, yeah. I knew I was expecting a high scoring game, so I probably could have done more because at the end of the day, most things hit. Like Devontae Smith hit, Pacheco hit, uh, Kelsey hit, yeah, AJ Brown hit. Like everyone hit because it was no defense at the end of the day. Even probably the defense hit for at least the Chiefs because they had a
Oh,
touchdown, the Hurts
yeah.
fumble. Okay, my question for you back on like actual football. You in our conversations, you have not been like the biggest like a Jalen Hurts fan. Has your opinion changed at all after seeing it? Might have not, and I'm gonna disagree with you personally.
So I will say this. I think that
I feel like
Jalen Hurts.
I don't know, you weren't even like he's a top 10 quarterback. And this was probably like week 15 or something or week 16.
Let me start with two things. First of all, I'm a diehard Giants fan. Okay, for people that don't
Take
know.
that into account, yeah.
So that's obviously gonna if Jalen Hurts played on the West Coast in the AFC, I'd probably love him as much as I love like Herbert or something. So let's take that into account. Secondly, Jalen Hurts off the field is he's just a good dude. Like he is humble, he's selfless, he's got like quiet confidence. He's someone who I would love to have as a teammate if I played in the NFL. Like I'd love for him to be my quarterback.
Yeah.
Um, I still don't think he's a top 5 quarterback, but I think he's firmly on like that second tier. Like I think he's a guy that can win you a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I would argue he's might not even be like I would take Mahomes probably.
I'd take
I'll
Josh
take
Allen.
Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Burrow. That's it. I think he's 5th for me right now.
Do you think he's the best quarterback in the NFC?
Yeah, and on the other hand, the NFC is a weak at quarterback compared to the
True.
AFC. Because like even if you go down the list after that, you're talking like you probably have Lamar in your top 10, and then like arguably some people prior to his injury had Tua up there,
Well,
and then
at least in the
like
NFC, um,
probably gonna
guys
lose
who,
Rodgers this year.
yeah, well, guys who have historically been better or on the same tier as say a Hurts would have been like, I mean, like obviously last year, at this point last year, you'd say that Stafford's better than
Yeah,
Hurts, but
definitely.
Stafford got hurt, Kyler Murray tore his ACL, Brady's 45, Rodgers lost his number one guy. I mean, you got to take into account
Darnold got hurt.
you got to take into account that Hurts plays behind the best O line, has 2 number one wide receivers. Because Devontae Smith is a number one. He'd be the number one on a lot of teams. Has a top 5 tight end. Has a good running back room. I mean, I'm not taking away anything from Hurts because the dude still. Let me check Prize Picks. He had like 35 fantasy points.
Yeah, I think what he proved in the Super Bowl was like he made some
Oh,
throws like that dot to
he
Goddard
he's legit.
on like 3rd and 15, and then everyone just looks at the Hail Mary at the end and was like, "You only threw it 40 yards," but it's like Who cares? He also
I
slipped on the play.
I
Field, by
will
the way. Field.
I
Gosh.
will I will take I will take back my he's art not you could argue he's not top 10. He's firmly top 10. He's firmly top 7.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just
That's
saying like I don't want to be that guy that's like, well, if certain quarterbacks played in that system and that team, they'd be just like Lamar Jackson in that team.
no, yeah, it's the
But
same argument
you
with
can't
like
you
that we
can't
have all the time with Dame and Steph. It's
you
like if
can't
Dame
fault
played with Steph or Dame played
can't
with the Warriors, he would be with like 4 rings too.
you can't fault Hurts for being in that situation. You can only yeah you can't fault a guy for playing for where he's at like where he's at because he got drafted by the team. Like it's like saying I don't know like the only person that you can fault for playing with great teammates is like Katie because he didn't
Yeah,
have to.
people that yeah
All right, next
have it.
I want to get off football. I want to go into this segment's called overrated, underrated. Okay.
Yeah.
And what better way to start than the day we're recording this, Cole? Is Valentine's Day overrated or underrated? Or is it properly
Well,
rated?
I think even if I was in a relationship, I would still
For
say
a
it's overrated.
for you know, and if you're watching this, you're watching two single men here.
If even if I was in a relationship, I would say overrated. You don't need you don't need a day to say like how to honor relationships. You have your anniversary. That's what your anniversary is for at the end of the day. So
Interesting.
you don't
My
need to stay. It's just a day for men to lose money at the end of the day.
my yeah, exactly. My friend actually texted a few of my friends and said, "Happy Bachelor's Day, gents." And my other friend goes, "Love not needing to do anything on a monetized holiday."
Yeah, and like it's just February 14th. It's just a typical day. There's nothing
Yeah.
special
Okay.
about
So
it.
you say overrated. Okay. What about what I got for breakfast this morning?
Coffee or
Starbucks.
Starbucks. I'm gonna say it's properly rated, but that's just because I don't drink coffee. If I drink coffee, I'll probably love it.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's definitely not underrated because it's so big.
And also, okay, their food is overrated.
That's
I don't
fair.
even know if people
I
like
can
their
get
food.
behind
I
that.
think they're like anytime we go there for breakfast, I'm just like gross.
I'd argue
Please
they're
go
a
somewhere
little
else.
overrated just because it's really expensive. But
And also, but I do in general, I think they're overrated because I don't think I would need
like
like
start
I
bench
would
cut.
need to go to get their coffee. If I like coffee, I wouldn't need Starbucks. I would just go get cheaper coffee from like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe coffee really tastes that much different, but
So start bench cut. Waffle House, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks.
um wow, that's really hard. Well, I'm cutting Starbucks.
You're cutting. Okay.
Yeah. That's the really easy part when like that's just no question. And for my personal life, I think I'm gonna start Waffle House, bench Dunkin' Donuts. I don't really like fast food breakfast for the most part. The only fast food breakfast I get is Chick-fil-A and Bojangles. Like
Bojangles.
I don't think fast food like uh I mean obviously donuts are great, but like you can't it's hard to mess up chicken and bread. So and like oh, okay, I'm
Drew.
just gonna shut up. Never I don't know what I was trying to go there.
Next one. Next overrated, underrated.
Crocs.
Crocs.
Well, given the fact that I've just been introduced to the Croc world this past Christmas, I think it's severely underrated. I think they are great. I wear them
Severely.
almost. Maybe not severely.
I mean, you could
They're
say that.
underrated. I
You
think
gotta stand by your take.
they are wonderful. I wear them almost every day, probably every day. Um, I wear them like just around, just and like I don't. I wear them inside, outside. They're easy to slip on.
So Crocs are versatile.
White Crocs in general. Like I had a pair of I never wore them, but I just found these on the beach. And I took them because they were sitting there for like 2 days. So I was like, oh, I'll get a pair of Crocs. And they were black. Black Crocs are ugly. White Crocs,
So Crocs are
beautiful.
versatile.
Versatile.
They're
I
comfortable.
think they look cool.
They look cool and they're comfortable.
They're comfortable. And I think white in general is like the reason I
So
think
if you were
white
gonna
Crocs are cool.
compare Crocs to an NBA player, who would they be?
Okay. They
They're versatile.
I
They're
wouldn't necessarily say they're flashy,
no
but they
Crocs.
kind of are.
I would say they're different. They're not really flashy. They're just like
But I feel like
they're
they're
nice.
different, but they're
They're nice.
accepted.
They're a nice
They're
change of pace.
accepted now.
They're a nice change of pace and deceptive guard.
This is I have zero clue.
I mean, like
They're like a two. They're a two-way.
I was gonna say, I kind of see some Halliburton in them.
I was gonna say possibly like Drew Holiday.
Do the Crocs have clams?
I think they do. They also have the sport mode and comfort mode. You know, when you lock them into the back of your heel, so that, you know, you can go crazy when you need to with them. I
My
don't know.
Crocs are currently in sport mode. I'm gonna go Halliburton because I think they're, like we said, they're a little underrated. Did Halliburton make the All-Star game?
Yeah, he did. But
Okay, well,
he was what?
huh?
You said cool after that? After Halliburton made the All-Star game? I think Halliburton, yeah, but people would still look at him as underrated.
Okay, yeah. Well, okay. You got any overrated, underrated for me? If you don't, it's fine.
Um, this is not overrated, underrated, but this is a question that I am asking because I'm currently charging my phone. Where do you stand on letting your phone die? Ever let
Can't
your phone
happen.
die?
Can't happen.
Can't happen.
Won't happen. Can't happen.
I think the last time I don't think my phone has died in over a year.
I've been on 1% numerous times.
When I'm on 1%, my phone is dead. I don't use it. Airplane mode, brightness down, everything's off.
Speaking of phone battery, my phone battery's kind of been trash
My
lately.
phone battery's great. I also just got in my room one of those things where I didn't even know this was possible with an iPhone. You just put your iPhone down on this platform and it's a wireless charger. It's
So
great.
I'm assuming you think wireless chargers are underrated.
No, I don't. I think they're perfectly fine.
Okay.
I they're It's not much of a difference to plugging it in, but it's just cool.
Oh, so it's a aesthetic thing.
It's an aesthetic thing and it just
I
feels
don't.
like I'm in the future.
I do not let my phone die. Can't let it happen.
Mm-mm.
Um.
Computer, for the most part, try to not let it die, but that's happened.
Oh yeah,
It's happened
computer.
because computer lies to you. Computer will die when it's at 7%.
Mine doesn't. I've been on like 2% before.
Mine will like go to 7 and then like die and I'll turn it back on or I'll plug it back in and right when I plug it in it's like 27.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Any other any other takes before we wrap it up? We have like
Um,
7 minutes.
okay. Oh yeah, I see it. I see it in the top left.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, Give me because I'm looking outside. That's making me think. What is your what is your most ideal weather
Mm,
condition day?
okay. I'm gonna go. It's about 65. The actual number doesn't matter, but it's completely blue skies. The sun is warm, but the air's a little crispy.
I think literally today, right now, my undisclosed location I'm at, it is 62 outside, not a cloud in the sky, 4 mile per hour wind, 10,
But like, you know, when it's like the
10
air's
miles
like
of visibility.
the that's huge. The air the air's like refreshing. It's a little crispy,
I want to walk out and be kind of chilled right when I walk out.
but then the sun hits.
Then the sun hits you. Honestly, one of my favorite weather is like when you go outside and you want to be active and you walk out and you're a little cold, but right when you get active, you're like, oh, I have to take my sweatshirt off. That feeling is great. So I think right
Mm.
now, today, I'm experiencing a great weather day and I've got to take advantage of it when we get off of this podcast.
Yeah, too bad I am slammed today. So
I mean, I'm pretty slammed as well, but I got about an hour or two before, so I might go just to get some hammocks outside. But it's a
overrated,
vibe.
underrated, sunbathing or sun tanning.
Um, Honestly, I think it's kind of underrated. I never do it, but like
I've done it
low
like
key,
three times.
kind of want to do it.
Like you kind of just like get a book or like listen to a
Now, I think it's
podcast like
overrated when
this.
I think it's underrated if you just do it just like as a relaxing thing. It's just like to get yourself some air. It's overrated when you're like, I gotta look at the UV rays and I gotta put on my suntan oil. Like, I think that's overrated. To actually make it into something that has to be a part of your day or like that you have to plan around, it shouldn't be something you plan.
Gotcha.
You're like, I gotta wait until 4:45 to when the rays are the best.
So I can look the most tan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think being tan is also underrated to a point.
Underrated?
Underrated to a point.
Mm.
An authentic tan, not a spray tan, not
Spray
a
tans might be the most overrated thing
not
in the
a
game.
not a tan where is a spray tan the same thing as the one where you like go inside the tube for the
Yeah,
most
more or
part,
less.
or
More
is
or
it
less.
actually a
I think it can be.
just they paint?
Okay, last underrated question I have for you. Most underrated club in your golf bag.
We're gonna have a golf one for sure. We're gonna have a golf episode because we have some things to talk about in the future.
We do.
But
What is your best club? What's your most underrated club?
okay, my favorite club to
And
use
worst club?
is definitely the A wedge or the pitching wedge.
I
What
agree.
from 105 to 125? Feel confident putting a full swing on that guy. My most my least favorite club right now it's currently the 5 wood because I can't hit it.
Fair enough.
You said my best club. That's my best club and favorite club. Um,
What's your most underrated club?
the most underrated club is just like I don't really see a difference anywhere between the five and any of the irons. So like I can't say a specific iron. Honestly, my most underrated club would probably be a hybrid. Because if you hit a good hybrid, like you can make you, I feel like I have much more control with a hybrid than I do with a at least distance wise than I do with like a 5 iron. But
I would
both
say
are still work in progresses.
my best club is definitely like a pitching wedge.
It's
There's just
just like it's just the one where
there's just something about a pitching wedge
you
where
can
it
put
just
because it's
screams
just
green
like
light.
you can put a full like I'm even if I choke down a pitching wedge, pause. That doesn't even need to pause that. Even when I like any swing with a pitching wedge, I feel comfortable that I'm gonna get full just flush contact.
Yeah, I would say my most underrated club is probably like the most variance. It would be like a 5 wood because like you saw when we played, I threw it like literally like 3 feet.
Also, hey, you see the Max Homa club throw?
Oh, that was good. That was good stuff.
Beautiful.
What
He's one of
we
he's
definitely got to have
he's
a
one of
golf
us.
podcast. We gotta do a golf one. My least favorite
Hold up.
club in
Okay.
the bag
Yeah,
is
go, quick.
4 iron. Can't hit it. Won't hit it.
Okay, given we have about 2 minutes left, what do you think you're gonna talk about with Cody next episode? Assuming he's on the next episode.
I'm actually just gonna give him a. I'm just gonna ask him a bunch of overrated, underrated things. We're probably gonna do a draft or two.
Oh yeah, he's a
Probably
good
gonna
drafter.
probably gonna
Maybe
play
talk
a
Mario
game.
Kart.
We're probably gonna play a game. Whether that's like I don't know. I need to figure it out. But definitely, I'm gonna steer Cody in the direction of games, like having takes in the context of games instead of just asking him like stupid questions like
One
this.
question I want you to ask is how he feels like he's grown over the last year and a half doing the podcast. Because there's
Okay.
definitely been good strides.
Yeah. All right. Minute and a half left.
That's
Quickly,
it.
do you think the Blazers? Now that I know we're not a Blazer podcast, but I'm gonna ask you one Blazer question. Do we win tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. 500, 2 games back of the 5 seed going to the All-Star break. That's all I can ask for.
So that's exactly what I would have taken that in a heartbeat
Well,
at the start of the season.
thank
Before
you
the
guys
season
for
started, after the
listening.
preseason.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching because this will be on YouTube too. Hopefully, well, by the time this gets posted, there will be a name and it will say episode 1 of insert podcast name. Don't know what it is yet. Actually, why am I saying comment team names? Because there's going to be a name by the time it comes out.
But we could still change it, I guess.
I mean, you could honestly just like
Because we might
put
it
like
might be called WCC takes right
you
now.
could like, yeah, you could put on Instagram like what should our new podcast name be and just get
Ooh,
some
good point, good
responses.
point, good point.
So,
I'm gonna do
all
that.
right. Episode 2 is going to be with Cody. Also, normal podcast coming out tonight. Comment after you see this what we need to work on, what you want to see. All right. See you guys later. Bye.
Oosh.